This is my fancy dress effort, just in case I get invited to a Diwali party later on. Transforms any face into a talking carrot cake. I hope that is obvious. You can also wear it like this, which turns your head into a carrot cake, which I think is quite cool. What are days for? Asks the poet Philip Larkin. And even he tries to come up with an answer. Days are where we live. They come, they wake us time and time over. They are to be happy. And where can we live but days? Writes the great miserablist. Where can we live but days? Solving that question brings ChatGPT and the Yi Jing in their various guises running over the fields. Great poem. But does it actually tell us what days are for? No, it doesn't. Larkin himself struggled with that question. And why should we even bother with it, you might say? We are the only creatures on this planet who, in both the smallest and the largest ways, are unsettled by that question or by the problem we project onto it. Every other living being is not concerned with what it should do with its days, its time, its life. It just simply acts, exists, lives. Only we find ourselves ensnared in this strange little metaphysical conundrum. And for the truly mentally disturbed, which is of course all of us, if you take into account the previous thought, it seems that our days and what we get up to in them can often be a kind of make or break in terms of our so-called mental health. Some of the people I speak to who are suffering the most are those who are struggling to know what to do with their days, or how to be in their days, or how to live somewhat comfortably in their days, or some other variation of that. Fireworks. If you're my neighbours on a day like today, days are for spaffing, I mean literally blowing pretty much every hard-earned penny from the last 2 months on fireworks, launching them thunderously into the sky for what feels like 72 hours straight, and then another week of it to dispose of, the post-Diwali arsenal, all on sale, bombs, rockets, every year terrorizing every animal, fair number of humans within a 2-mile radius. But that's what we do when it's Diwali. We go out, we meet other humans decked in our finery, we eat excessively, and we chat endlessly about who's doing what and where. And if you're Max, well, days are for getting annoyed that your bipedal companion insists on moping and reading, so you make your frustration clear, grabbing a piece of his clothing and plonking yourself next to him to glower and sulk.
Step out, get some air now, let your edge out. To some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've kept from losing the best in me. I worry that I wasted the best in me. Oh, yeah, baby, you don't care.
But it's not as if we idiots are going to come up with anything sensible about what days are for. And that's why, of course, we turn to the Yi or some other great philosopher. What would Nietzsche say? He might argue that days are for pursuing your path, following your thread, embracing the eternal recurrence of life, each day an opportunity to exercise your will to power, and so on and so forth. Meaning what? Well, as you may know, eternal recurrence suggests that you would ideally be living as if you were willing to relive each moment, this moment right here, on and on and on, living it so fully and affirmatively that you would welcome its endless return. Embracing each day, each moment, as if you choose to live it over and over and over again for eternity for some reason. Was this of much use to Nietzsche? No, probably not. For most of his life, he wrestled with intense physical and emotional suffering, compounded by, being a drama queen, Enneagram 4-5, somewhere in that area. Loves espousing the ideal of living authentically beyond society's norms, yet struggles to embody this himself. Still, great psychologist Nietzsche pointing out the glaringly obvious that days may have little to do with what they contain, but rather with the presence of mind we bring to them. This, of course, perfectly encapsulated, as most things are, in the chorus of SZA's, Scissor, I believe, Good Days, revealing just how metaphysical, psychological it is, right? You know, good day living in my mind, telling me I'm not my fears, my limitations, I disappear if you let me. Feeling like on your own, feeling like Jericho, feeling like Job when he lost his shit, got to hold my own, my cross to bear alone. Paid a deal, way to kill the mood. No, you like that shit, yeah, groovy, baby, heavy on my empty mind. Shit, I gotta keep from losing the rest of me, still worry that I wasted the best of me on you, babe.
Feeling like Jericho, feeling like Job when he lost his shit. Gotta hold my own, my cross to bear alone. Ooh, way to dip, way to kill the mood. No, you like that shit, can't groove it, baby. Heavy on my empty mind, shit. I gotta keep from losing the rest of me. Still worried that I wasted the best of me on you, babe. You don't care.
Okay, so let's do the divination, which means we've got to throw some coins. Let's see what these coins are going to show us. What are they for? Yang. Oh yeah, this is a kind of a firework of a... This is a firework, Max. Horny bookmark. 42. Hexagram 42. Increase. Augmentation. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Boom, boom. Fireworks. Increase reminds us that any meaningfully measurable gain is rare, fleeting, often hard-won. In this view, life is less about accruing grand meaning and more about avoiding outright loss, staving off depletion in a world that seems to drain more than it replenishes, regardless of the fireworks that suggest otherwise. So to live in this framework is to simply bring something, anything, into existence like this that resists entropy, doesn't leave you emptier than before. So less about an abundance of growth and more a question of survival, of finding ways to counterbalance the slow seepage of time, energy and spirit that life exacts. As long as there's a net gain, even a minor one, we haven't entirely lost to that ceaseless diminishment. Small victories, something created, however ephemeral, that hasn't been eroded or taken, that just sort of slightly tips the scale ever so slightly towards continuity over collapse. The judgment, it furthers one to undertake something. It furthers one to cross the great water. The crossing, let's argue, isn't about heroism, but about staking even the smallest intention against the constant drain of, life or the mind's narratives. To cross the great water is to make this sort of quiet, determined stand against entropy, to choose some form of engagement over retreat, even in the face of doubt and meaninglessness. Rather than attempting some grand feat, it's more a kind of encouragement, a little nudge from the ye to ye and me, to make this sort of solitary passage, whatever that is, towards a kind of sustaining growth. Lower trigram wind, wood, upper thunder, fireworks again. However modest, you can do this in the day-to-day. So subtle augmentation, a movement, keeping something in our lives from entirely slipping away, carrying on with small purposes, an acknowledgement that against life's broader, crazy firework craziness, even minor gains might be experienced as long as your mindset is augmenting as opposed to shrinking.